Yo, honestly though, why is everybody hating this guy? He don't look too bad to me. He's a good looking guy, charismatic, tall, dark and handsome, well educated, comes from a prestigious family, and he's articulate. I mean, what can go wrong?
When Justin Trudeau became Canada's Prime Minister in 2015, he also became a Liberal darling. In photo ops, he seemed like the nerd the left had been waiting for. A fighter with a soft heart, beloved despite his clumsiest attempts at wokeness.
I think it's safe to say that the majority of Canadians don't like Justin Trudeau. I mean, with just a quick glance at the poll numbers and how his popularity has dwindled over the years, it's not looking good.
I completely disapprove of Justin Trudeau.
Now Canada's falling apart. All the that they did during COVID was just the total wrong direction. The trucker convoy, when they froze people's bank assets. You can't make honking your
horns illegal.
Bro, they froze people's bank accounts that donated money to the convoy. That's crazy.
3 in 4 Canadians think Justin Trudeau should step down. He has a lack of funding. The Conservatives are outfunding him by 3x. He's getting heckled at every in-person appearance.
Of that, the other part of... come on! Come on! Really?
Canadians are ensuring that it's not going to be easy from here to the end. And I mean, why should he have it easy? He screwed the population over the past 9 years of him being in power.
Damn, that's pretty messed up, Trudeau. I mean, I would have probably voted for him like 10 years ago, just by the looks of it. You know, he seems like a cool guy. What can go wrong? But first, let's start off live first with all the fun conspiracy theories.
The former president has added fuel to a very wild conspiracy theory about Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
He's the son of Fidel Castro, and could be. I mean, anything's possible in this world, you know?
The theory claims that Justin's mother, Margaret Trudeau, had a secret affair with the Cuban leader, making Castro his biological father. From striking physical resemblances to their family's unusual friendship, advocates of this theory argue that there's more than meets the eye. The resemblance between Justin Trudeau and Fidel Castro has sparked intense interest, especially when images of a young Castro are compared side by side with Justin. Many note their shared facial features, including a broad nose, high cheekbones, square jawline, and expressive eyes.
Man, that's a wild claim. But hey, who knows, man? Anything goes with the rich. But until I see Trudeau smoking a Cuban cigar, I ain't believing nothing.
The high school drama teacher over here accuses others of liking the sounds of their own voices. This from a guy who, if he were made of chocolate, he would eat himself.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I was a high school teacher before getting into politics, and I'm having a little trouble remembering what exactly the job that the Leader of the Opposition had before getting into politics. Mr. Speaker, we have a plan to fight climate change. We have a plan to continue to move forward.
Yes, and he left right in the middle of the semester, and I'm having trouble remembering why.
Oh!
Now, Mr. Speaker.
Ooh, hey, the parliament ain't even a parliament, man. It's just a roasting session. If you don't know yet, or if you haven't heard the story, Justin Trudeau was alleged to have a sexual affair with one of his students when he was a drama teacher in college. But ain't even the craziest thing he's done in college, so who knows? One thing we know for sure nowadays is that Nepo babies, they be doing some wild stuff. But all the fun conspiracies aside and all the scandals done now, I would say that the biggest blow to Trudeau's political career is the Truckergate. During the pandemic, when he used his force and power to get what he wanted. That's like ultimate Nepo baby gone wild. This is really the only time that we get to see Justin Trudeau's true colors come out. When he gets to display his power and do what he wants. Like a true dictator. And you know what? In second thought, those Castro allegations might just be true. So let's all take a look at how Trudeau made his biggest mistake.
What started as a group of truckers protesting COVID-19 vaccine mandates called the Freedom Convoy. That's what they call themselves. It's snowballed now to sort of blockade in Canada for days. We've seen chaos in Ottawa. That's Canada's capital city, of course, as truckers protest the new vaccine order, which requires truckers entering Canada to be fully vaccinated or face testing and quarantine requirements.
It's a giant convoy of trucks that's apparently some insane amount of people, like 50,000 trucks.
I understand the pandemic it has taken many lives, but you know what? There's no reason to lose my freedom as well. My man, we're gonna keep fighting, Trudeau. You have nothing
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau declaring a national emergency now to end the trucker protests and to halt anyone coming from the U.S. to join the protests.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau invoking the Emergencies Act, a never-before-used law granting the Canadian government broad powers, including the ability to remove vehicles and freeze bank accounts.
Occupying streets, harassing people, breaking the law. This is not a peaceful protest. The time to go home is now.
The quote was about protests in general. It was something like, we have a vibrant democracy here in Canada and we value protests, but it was something like, but when you use protest to protest, to object to the policies of the government, I think you're going too far. Well, what the fuck is protest for, except to object to the policies of the government?
It was quite shocking, everything that happened in that protest, because they seized the bank accounts of 200 Canadians, and that was not amusing. And Trudeau has no idea what that did to Canada's international reputation. That was not a good precedent.
Okay, wait, go back.
Mm-hmm.
They seized the bank accounts of what, people who were in the protest?
They seized some bank accounts of some people who only sent money to the protest, like through Give, Send, Go, and GoFundMe and so forth. So.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So you didn't even have to be at the protest.
When you say seized, they froze it. They didn't take their money. They just froze it. So they
froze their credit cards. They froze their mortgage payments. They locked them out. So they locked them out of the financial system entirely.
That is creepy.
It's really bad. In fact, one of the banks actually apologized. There's 5 big banks in Canada, and one of them actually apologized for doing it eventually. They all should have apologized, but one did. Yeah, it was really bad. It was shocking. Canadians aren't sufficiently shocked about it, partly because they don't really understand what that did to Canada's international reputation. But it was absolutely, I can't imagine a politician doing anything more inappropriate than that. Right? No trial, no real investigation. Plus, Trudeau claimed that the trucker convoy was financed by MAGA, Republican Americans, which is completely preposterous because, first of all, why would MAGA Republican Americans foment dissent in Ottawa? Like, even if they knew where it was, which they don't, and they don't care, and why would they? And so, first of all, it was the Russians. It's like, oh, yes, that's the Russians' primary concern. And then it was like literally MAGA Republican Americans funding the trucker protests in Ottawa. It was so
And they were protesting vaccine mandates?
Yeah, essentially. But they were protesting the lockdowns more broadly, I would say.
Man, that's actually quite terrifying. I mean, I didn't really focus much on it during that time as it happened. I just thought, everyone was protesting during that times. During the pandemic, I just thought everyone was just mad as hell, just being cooped up in their home. So I didn't really put much to it. But looking back, it's absolutely terrifying. It's crazy to think about it. I mean, I don't even think any other country enforced that power like that, the way Trudeau did, to take those people's money. Makes you second guess. You don't even have power over your own money. But all of Trudeau's bad decisions, his policies, led to the public vitriol and hatred towards him, and most especially the impact he had in Canada's economy. And that is ultimately why he became Canada's most hated prime minister.
Justin Trudeau, the polarizing figure at the head of the Canadian economy, the supreme leader. But why exactly is he so hated? Well, on top of his famous, that made no sense, the budget will balance itself.
But it's worse than just keeping the tax. Trudeau now thinks it is time to quadruple the tax on Canadians right across the country. Why now? Now, after 8 years of Justin Trudeau, everything costs more.
We have inflation through the roof, unaffordability that we haven't seen in over 40 years. People can't afford a mortgage payment. They can't afford a rent payment. They can barely afford groceries. So Trudeau can, say all he wants, talk all the political theater about how we're going to save climate change and all that. Dude, nobody wants to hear that right now when you can't even pay for your bills. And I think that's the biggest effect against Trudeau right now, is the state of the economy. Fortunately for Trudeau, at the 8-9 year mark for him, we're in an economic recession, and one that we haven't seen for the past 40 years. It's pretty bad.
We have a new phenomenon, not seen since at least the Great Depression, where middle-class people are becoming homeless. fully employed carpenters and nurses living in parking lots, in cars, in Canada. 8 years ago, this would have been unimaginable. What happened? Justin Trudeau happened.
But it looks like you got what you wanted. Justin Trudeau has now resigned.
Every morning I've woken up as Prime Minister. I've been inspired by the resilience, the generosity, and the determination of Canadians. It is the driving force of every single day I have the privilege of serving in this office. That is why, since 2015, I've fought for this country, for you, to strengthen and grow the middle class. Why we rallied to support each other through the pandemic, to advance reconciliation, to defend free trade on this continent, to stand strong with Ukraine and our democracy, and to fight climate change and get our economy ready for the future. We are at a critical moment in the world. I'm a fighter.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief. I mean, we all seen you fight.
Returning fight. Every bone in my body has always told me to fight because I care deeply about Canadians. I care deeply about this country, and I will always be motivated by what is in the best interest of Canadians. And the fact is, despite best efforts to work through it, Parliament has been paralyzed for months after what has been the longest session of a minority parliament in Canadian history. That's why this morning I advised the Governor-General that we need a new session of Parliament. She has granted this request, and the House will now be prorogued until March 24th. Over the holidays, I've also had a chance to reflect and have had long talks with my family about our future. Throughout the course of my career, any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement. So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the President of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election.
Says many people in Canada love being the 51st state. They can no longer suffer the massive trade deficit and subsidies that Canada needs to stay afloat. Justin Trudeau knew this and resigned.
But how did the country react to his resignation?
Justin Trudeau, you're f***ing out of here, bud. Hey, and don't forget to take your yarmulke, your turban, your headdress, your cowboy hat, these two dudes, and your face paint with you. And I'm sure you got a couple of these buried in that closet you're afraid to come out of, so don't forget to take these with you too. And you know, I just got off the phone with Canada, and they wanted me to give you this little present to thank you for your 10 years of service and help bid you farewell. You ready, Justin? F*** off and farewell. So there you go. I even stuffed your little hat in there. You're already half packed, man. Just hit the road. And Justin, don't forget. Have a great day.
So let this be a lesson to you, me, and everybody. The good looks don't always lead to good results. And just because someone looks kind doesn't mean they have their best interest. Ultimately though, Justin Trudeau is a prime example of what happens when you let the rich and powerful get away with too much. You can't expect the rich and powerful to have the same empathy for you because they've never lived amongst you. They can't feel the same way as you do because when push comes to shove, they're safe in their gates and you're there to fend for yourself. So let this be a lesson for your future, to choose wisely on who you want as your leader. And just because they sound good, don't always mean they're going to do good. Remember, promises are broken, policies aren't. So I hope you like this episode of The Third Eye. This is Thirdy, helping you see life in plain sight. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's grow this channel together. See you in the next one. Ka.